Well, g'day and kia ora. Welcome to AWS Summit here in Canberra. It's so great to see you all here in person. 3 years gone past and so much has passed behind us. And a warm welcome, of course, to all of you joining us on our live stream today. To start, I'd like to acknowledge the Ngunnawal people who are the traditional custodians of the land upon which we're meeting today. I pay my respects to their elders past, present and emerging, and I extend that respect to all Aboriginal and Torres Strait Islander peoples with us today. And a special welcome to our Māori and Pacific Island friends. It's so great to have you here. Thank you so much for taking time out of your busy schedules and for your contribution and commitment to this event. We're excited to have you here. You know, an AWS Summit is not a typical technology conference. It's a place of networking and learning where you can spend time and learn from the experiences of others. Today, you can choose from more than 20 lecture-style presentations covering topics including security, machine learning and artificial intelligence, data and analytics, and digital transformation. We've got chalk talks, which are small interactive groups where you can really sink your teeth into the subject matter. And of course, you can take your laptop to our deep racer sessions and get hands-on with reinforcement learning. Above all, please embrace this opportunity to learn and hear from others. And if you're not sure, reach out to the AWS team, and I encourage you to build a program that suits you. Today would not be possible without our sponsors. These are just a few of the incredible organisations we work alongside in Australia and in New Zealand, and I thank you for your support. You know, with hundreds of thousands of active customers supported by thousands of AWS partners, you're making what was impossible only a few years ago possible and the new normal. I'm constantly inspired by what continues to be an enormous opportunity ahead of us and for what we can do together. I'd like to give you an example. In Melbourne, the primary driver of worsening congestion on the roads pre-COVID was population growth. Then COVID significantly changed how people use the network, with public transport patronage as low as 25% and an increase in private vehicle usage. The Department of Transport Victoria developed the Smarter Roads program to address these challenges and transform how they manage the transport network. The department's biggest operational challenge is a lack of real-time situational awareness. Inconsistent and incomplete access to real-time information meant that their operators were working reactively and manually, relying on phone calls from the public and emergency services. To gain real-time situational awareness, including leveraging CCTV assets, they looked at Deloitte's Optimal Reality solution, powered by AWS Panorama. What this allowed them to do was deliver an end-to-end computer vision network to run machine learning models at the edge using the existing camera network. AWS Panorama will analyse all 1,200 CCTV images in real time, allowing the identification of, say, a truck rollover or a flooded road with real-time notification to those operators. Operators will now know about incidents and their impact more quickly, which will now result in faster response times, saving folks time on the road. Without AWS Panorama and Deloitte, this was previously impossible. And this is just one of the countless stories you'll hear from AWS partners. I'm inspired that each of our partners has a story where they have made the impossible possible. And to learn more about these great stories and to visit our sponsors and partners, I'd encourage you to spend some time in the expo. You're going to find all the latest solutions there, so grab a Lamington and head on down there in the breaks. I'm pleased to announce today that Amazon Web Services has invested more than $8 billion Australian into the Australian economy in infrastructure and jobs in the last decade. In fact, we've got a new AWS region in Melbourne opening soon. Earlier this year, we announced our plans to invest an estimated $7.5 billion New Zealand to open an AWS region based in Auckland in 2024. This investment is forecast to deliver 1,000 new jobs and contribute $10.8 billion New Zealand dollars to Aotearoa's GDP over the next 15 years. You know, since opening our first office in Australia a decade ago and in New Zealand 9 years ago, we've continued to make investments to help Aussie and Kiwi organisations innovate, grow and unlock the power of cloud. And we continue to commit ongoing investment in local infrastructure to drive rapid customer innovation, such as the planned local zones in Brisbane and Perth, delivering single-digit latency at the edge of the cloud. We are here for the long haul, and we are nowhere near being done. Today, analyst IDC estimates that the value of cloud is more than $12 billion in Australia and $2 billion in New Zealand. Remarkably, the market is forecast to double to over $27 billion by 2026. Recently commissioned research by AWS Cloud Economics that looked at customers in Australia and New Zealand who migrated to AWS are seeing an acceleration in innovation, including up to a 20% reduction in time to market for new features and applications for citizens, close to a 25% reduction in IT costs compared to on-premises solutions, and an improvement of about 36% in operational resilience. Our investments in this region are yielding outstanding customer and partner outcomes, from delivering contact tracing to supporting elections, scaling call centres, to Australia's first whole-of-population census in the cloud, serving 25 million people without incident. You know, one of Amazon's leadership principles is success and scale bring broad responsibility. And we think deeply about how we operate here locally, to make better and to do better. Amazon has invested in 3 renewable projects here in Australia, made a carbon footprint tool for customers, and helped our customers reduce their carbon emissions by moving to the cloud. You'll hear more about this shortly. Last year across Amazon and Australia, we agreed to take meaningful action to advance reconciliation by producing and adopting a Reconciliation Action Plan. I'm proud that along with our employees, we're embracing the opportunity to create a strong relationship between Indigenous and non-Indigenous folks around the shared ideals of inclusion and equity. Through our Reconciliation Action Plan, we are working closely with Indigenous companies like IT consultancy Winyama on closing Australia's digital skills gap. Directly, we're addressing the skills gap as well. In Australia and New Zealand, we're delivering training programs for the most in-demand cloud skills, and we've trained more than 200,000 folks since 2017 in Australia. AWS also recently commissioned research with Alpha Beta on digital skills, and it revealed 97% of those surveyed wanted more. They wanted more digital skills. But while cloud skills are highly in demand, employers and employees cite a lack of time and awareness as the biggest barriers to their upskilling journey. We want to change that, because by making sure individuals are able to access digital skills training in a way that works for them, and let's face it, if you can survive with an hour a week on training or a few hours a month, we want to make sure there's learning options to suit you. So recently we introduced AWS Skill Builder, which is a new subscription service that provides individuals and teams access to exclusive AWS cloud training and the opportunity to acquire vital cloud-related skills whenever and wherever they want. As you can see, we're on an incredible journey. Every day we are privileged to be part of the success shared by our customers and our partners. We're continually impressed by the capacity for innovation and invention across our hundreds of thousands of active customers and our thousands of partners who use AWS infrastructure each month. And I thank all of you for sharing your journey with AWS. Okay, Alexa, what's next?
Please welcome to the stage Max Peterson, Vice President, Worldwide Public Sector, AWS.
Nicely done. Thanks, Ian. That was great. Good day, good morning, good evening, or good afternoon for all of our virtual attendees. It's great to be here in person. So excited to be back at the summit and back here in Australia. And it would be really exciting if the clicker worked. Maybe somebody can give me a slide advance. There we go. As Alexa said, my name's Max Peterson. I run our worldwide public sector business where we help all of our customers around the world in government or education or not-for-profit, national healthcare systems, aerospace and satellite, all to be able to do more to deliver their missions on the cloud. And it's been fascinating for me to be able to lead this business for over 10 years. Early on, starting right here in Australia with the investments that Ian talked about. It's a special pleasure to be able to talk about some of the advanced digital transformation that's going on right here in Australia and New Zealand. We're really excited to be able to celebrate these leading edge efforts, these pioneering efforts that are happening right here in the region with all of our public sector customers, with our commercial customers and with our partners. So over the next 50 minutes, I'll share some updates with an international perspective. We'll have two customer speakers join us here on stage to tell their stories about how they're leveraging the cloud to get more agility, more resiliency, and the security that is essential so that you can keep pushing those boundaries and hopefully help spark some of the ideas for this group on how you can drive further innovation and further imagination about what's possible in the areas of work that you all endeavored. But before diving in, I wanted to take a moment to reflect on these past few years, which have been very difficult for so many. It continues to be a challenging time around the world as we navigate through and then out of the pandemic, and as we also work through all the other tragic situations that are happening around the world. I hope that all of you and your families are staying safe and well through this. Like many, we've been watching what's going on in Ukraine with the concern about what we can do and how we can help. This is the largest humanitarian crisis in Europe since World War II, and coming together to be able to provide support is critical. As part of Amazon, we've been donating to help organizations that are on the ground, and we'll continue to work with these NGOs to be able to provide that sort of support through our employees, through our partnerships, and through these NGO and relief efforts. And it's inspiring, and we take a lot of pride in being able to help. One example is with Ukraine's largest distance learning school, Optima, where we worked with Optima to quickly help them scale up their solution to support continued learning by thousands of displaced students who needed access to education. Throughout these difficult times, our customers across the public sector have been really quick to respond. And it's important that we're able to be able to support their missions, ultimately to provide critical citizen services, to be able to support learner outcomes, and frankly, change the way over the last several years that society works and engages and educates and does business. So before we go any further, to everybody in this room, I want to say thank you for all of the work that you've been doing and the work that you're thinking about doing and the dedication to your communities, your citizens, and to all of our end customers. As some of you know, AWS was formed up in 2006, and we established our public sector business, which I've been fortunate to be a part of for over a decade now, in 2010, where we've had this focus on trying to drive disruptive innovation for our public sector customers and supporting them to help make the world a better and a safer place. In 2012, we opened our first Australian region here in Sydney. It was an exciting moment that has started a decade of momentum as we continue to grow and expand our services. You heard from Ian about a number of the things happening right here in Australia, where we're providing customers with more options to allow them to have the choice that they need on where they host their data, on where their workloads operate, on how they control their systems and their sovereignty, and how you can be able to go digital with even greater speed. We're absolutely thrilled to be able to talk about the local zones and the new region that's going to be coming shortly, and what we're doing over in New Zealand as well. If it's not incredibly apparent, we're committed to the acceleration of this digital transformation and the use of the cloud here in Australia and New Zealand, because we see the great potential that it provides. We also see the beneficial economic development that it provides. It spurs job creation, it spurs skills, it spurs new opportunity and education across Australia, New Zealand, and beyond. And we want to keep working with you and everyone in this audience to be able to keep inventing and keep innovating to meet the local needs that we see across the community. Now, AWS from day one has been built upon focus on the customer obsession. Over 90% of our developed services actually come from working with customers, understanding what your needs are, and then trying to innovate rapidly and quickly to deliver on those capabilities. The other 10% comes from what we call looking around corners. We try and understand what customers need and what they want, but they might not have explained quite yet, and then invent on their behalf by reading through the lines and delivering even more incredible services. As you can see behind me, today, millions of customers around the world trust AWS to improve their security postures, to be able to enable their enterprises, their organizations, or individuals to be more agile, and to lower costs. Enterprises, small businesses, startups, almost across every imaginable sector are starting to use AWS in astounding ways to deliver new capabilities. In the public sector alone, we've got tens of thousands of customers ranging from national government agencies to universities to major healthcare systems. They're all counting on AWS to now support mission-critical systems. In the early days, we worked with web systems. We've gone so much further beyond that, really into the core of capability that business and government and education needs today. One of the reasons is because customers get to take advantage of this investment that AWS has made around the world in a global infrastructure. And today, which we just updated, we've got 27 cloud computing regions because we announced the UAE region, and 84 different availability zones. All that means is that you've got more capability, more resilience in more places all around the world, and we're not stopping there. We've got 7 more AWS regions on the way and another 21 availability zones. Our customers often find that one of the best reasons for adopting AWS is that they get a range of services, over 200 different services, significantly more than any other cloud provider, and that we're not slowing down in delivering new capability. In fact, we love working with customers who want to participate in beta programs to help shape the future and innovate based upon what you need. And in addition to the direct work we do with customers, all of this wouldn't be possible without our partner ecosystem. Over 100,000 partners around the world who are experts in helping understand your needs and then force multiply that capability to customers around the world. And there's a lot of partners right here today. I encourage you to go see the Partner Expo. Across Australia and New Zealand, they're helping customers to be able to migrate to the cloud faster, deploy mission-critical systems, provide a full range of monitoring, automation, management services, and all of that is on behalf of the customer innovation to help you achieve your missions. So I invite you to please come and join the partners in the Partner Theater this afternoon. Now, looking ahead, as we move into the next new normal, it's going to be critical for organizations to continue to adapt to the local needs of our constituents, be they citizens, patients, end customers, students. And we're building off of an incredible momentum where COVID caused us all to have to work in different ways. In fact, a lot of customers saying that this spurred them on to probably innovate faster than they would have, 3 to 5 years perhaps faster than they would have. And in fact, citizen service is one of those places where there was a lot of innovation, where it was absolutely essential, and now citizens around the world have come to expect this capability. There's no going back now. It should be as easy to work with all of my government services as it is to go shop online or stream a TV show. And to hear more on this, I'm excited to be able to bring our first customer speaker who's going to share how her organization moved quickly to the cloud to collect the 2021 census data from more than 25 million Australian citizens, all in a seamless and secure fashion. And so, Alexa, can you help me welcome to the stage our next guest speaker?
Please welcome to the stage Teresa Dickinson, Deputy Australian Statistician of Australian Bureau of Statistics.
Thank you, Max, and good morning, everyone. Yuma, and to my New Zealand colleagues, kia ora tātou. I'm delighted to be here today. I'm actually a little bit terrified as well, but I'm delighted because I have a great story to tell. I begin by also acknowledging that we are on Ngunnawal country, and I pay my respects to any Aboriginal and Torres Strait Islander peoples in the audience or watching online today. Now, I invite you to cast your mind back and see how many of you can remember what you were doing 386 days ago, which is a bit of a random number, but let's see how you go. But I'm thinking most of you would have no idea. If I was to point out that that day was the 10th of August 2021, might you remember now? What about, and you can see where I'm going with this, what about if I pointed out that the 10th of August 2021 was the day of Australia's 18th census? Even with that context, many of you would probably still struggle to actually remember what you were doing on a particular day over a year ago. For the Australians in the audience, a third of you would have been completing your census sometime that day, and many others of you would already have completed it. So, having said all that, now do you remember jumping online or perhaps filling in one of these forms? And if you did fill in a paper form, really? Are you at the right event? You know? I would expect in this audience that pretty much everybody did it online. I'm just going to use that as a working assumption. If you don't really remember completing your census form, then that's fantastic, because we worked really hard with our key collaborators in the digital space, notably PwC and AWS, to successfully deliver a census that was easy, quick, and secure. And today I'm going to focus on our work with AWS. They were a key part of Australia's census story, and we couldn't have done it without them. A little bit about the census. It's big. We say it's the biggest peacetime event in Australia, and at peak we employ over 30,000 people. That's the equivalent of every man, woman and child in a town the size of, say, Wodonga or Dubbo. The census represents $500 million of taxpayer investment, but delivers 6 times that of value to the economy. That is a good return on investment, providing we get the quality of the data that we need and we get the census right. So what happened? How did we get the census right with the help of AWS? In 2017, ABS delivered the Marriage Law Postal Survey, and that was our first foray into cloud services. With AWS, we built an online form for Australians who were living overseas to be able to complete the survey. And in fact, I used it as I was living in New Zealand at that time. And during this process, we experienced firsthand the scale and security available in cloud technology. So when it came time to planning for the 2021 census, we were already comfortable choosing a cloud-based solution, even though there were very few government-based solutions at that time. In the 3 years leading up to the census, we worked collaboratively with PwC and AWS to bring our vision to life and to build a census digital solution that was secure, innovative, and could deliver performance at the scales that we knew would be required. The digital service isn't just the form that you would have filled in. It also included the census website, a content management system, and self-service facilities such as telling us that your house would be vacant, ordering a paper form, or getting a new code. In the design and build of the Census Digital Service, we collaborated with the Australian Cyber Security Centre and specialist cyber security firms to develop a cyber strategy and to obtain a range of assessment and uplift activities. And we're very thankful for the assistance that we received there. Our digital preparations culminated in the ABS performing the largest denial of service test ever conducted in Australia, and AWS facilitated this. And I would say that we all learnt a lot about mounting a test of this size, and it was at this point that we started doing work with AWS Worldwide to manage that test. If you're interested in that aspect of things, Craig Lindenmeyer, our ABS cybersecurity specialist, is here today, and you can find out more about this work from Craig at the workshops after lunch. Turning to the relationship that we had with AWS, as we built the census, there were 4 key characteristics that stood out. Firstly, the shared vision and passion that we had in the value and importance of the census to Australia. And therefore, we both shared a very deep and very genuine desire to see it succeed. The AWS built trust with us very, very quickly. Not only that they could deliver technically, but that they had our backs and that they would go into bat for us where we knew that was needed. There was great communication at all levels, so we knew what was happening, we knew when things were going well, we knew when things were a bit behind, or if it was difficult to find an answer to a problem. The fourth piece that I'll call out is a problem-solving mindset. Of course, in such a large, complex, high-stakes build, things don't always go to plan. And on numerous occasions, AWS designed and brokered solutions to problems with and on behalf of the ABS, and of course, in doing that, worked with PwC. AWS and other companies were with us in ABS House on census night, and we really felt very much and functioned like one team. You couldn't really tell who was who. And we were very pleased, in a perverse sort of way, that census night was pretty boring for us, that nothing happened and the system worked seamlessly, not only on census night, but for the entire time that it was performing. And that started in April with the website and didn't finish until October. I said at the beginning that we designed the census to be easy to use. A key measure of our success was the very significant amount of positive feedback we received from the public. Many were very effusive about how easy the form was to navigate, whether that was on a phone, a tablet, an Xbox, and even for the 3 people who did it on their Tesla. Go figure. Moreover, the digital service was designed to support a range of assistive technologies, and we in fact won an award for being inclusive and having the best accessible government website for the year. Now, I'm a numbers person, so here are a few metrics about how it all went. By the end of census night, we saw 52% of households having completed their census form online, which was well above what we were forecasting. Overall, we received 7.7 million forms in total online, which is about just on 80% of returns. And interestingly, for those aged over 80, 42% returned their census online. The digital service also received 18 million visits to the website, and it was able to scale on census night to receive 2.8 million forms in that 24-hour period. The service peaked with a submission rate of 142 forms per second at 8:05 p.m. And as I said, it performed seamlessly with no downtime. Overall, we achieved a 96.1% response rate for the census, again above our target, and that's really my favourite number about the census. In short, the 2021 Census Digital Service set a new benchmark for digital delivery in government. Every census is important, but the 2021 census will be remembered for the information it has provided on how we lived and worked during the pandemic, with this census being taken when over half of us were in lockdown. The first release of the 2021 census data in June showed Australia's population had grown to 25.4 million, that we have now as many millennials as we do baby boomers, and that we're increasingly culturally diverse. The second release of the 2021 census data will occur on the 12th of October, and it will provide insights on topics including employment, journey to work, and occupation. All of these, of course, will have been affected by the pandemic. The census was a true team effort, and I thank AWS for being such a vital and valuable member of the 2021 census team. But most of all, I thank you for providing your data 386 days ago, or thereabouts. Every stat tells a story, and the data that you provided is now being used to inform decisions that support you, your family, your community, and makes our country better. Thank you.
Wow, I thought that was incredible. And by the way, I really loved Teresa's comment along the way. If you're one of the people who filled out the paper form, this conference might be a little uncomfortable for you, but we've got the tools to help you go digital as well, too. And working with the census and ABS, we look forward to continuing to drive that kind of innovation and automation and scale and return to citizens. More and more organizations are using the cloud to innovate on behalf of the citizens and keeping up with the changes around us. For instance, the New South Wales government's Digital Customer Service Centre, which is made up of more than 30 different agencies, migrated their workloads from government data centers to AWS. And this is helping to improve support for more than 8 million citizens, ranging from efforts like automating flood mapping with machine learning to scaling up contact tracing during the pandemic, with more than 10 million check-ins recorded every day. That's scale, while also doing it very effectively and reducing costs. We're also excited that this digital transformation in public sector continues to make it easier for governments to be able to simplify things like procurement processes so that agencies can go ahead and speed up their migration to cloud and leverage these benefits. This year, we were honored to be able to renew our whole of government agreement with the Australian federal government for another 3 years, and in addition, signed 2 new agreements with the Victorian government and with the New Zealand Department of Internal Affairs. These agreements are helping to be able to bring the transformation power of the cloud to the public sector organizations in a simpler and easier manner that enables them to develop cost-effective and secure cloud services. Equally important to our customers who are blazing new trails are the leaders that are putting broad-based policies into place that supports your cloud adoption and the frameworks that encourage real-time security and modernization. Here in Australia, the New South Wales government issued its new cloud strategy early on, encouraging cloud by default as a principle across all of the procurement decisions. This provides agencies with that common vision, that direction, and the approach that helps enable and deliver government-wide adoption of cloud services that is both unified, united, and secure. Security and resilience are the critical components for implementing these new policies because it's essential that we keep public sector workloads protected. We support and we also welcome the uplift in requirements that Australia's new critical infrastructure law will bring. While embracing global standards, it importantly takes a risk-based approach. And we also acknowledge Australia's long-standing recognition that data security requires a commitment and a collaboration between public and private organizations. And we're continuing to work very closely with the Australian government to make sure that we support critical infrastructure and cybersecurity. As more and more organizations shift into these hybrid environments, ensuring security has become the utmost important. It's critical to keeping systems up and running and critical to keeping your data protected. Maintaining continuity so that students are able to learn, so that citizens can access key government services, and so that employees can work remotely and individuals can receive the sort of healthcare that they need. And having the right technology is helping to mitigate those types of incidents and guard against potential attacks that are represented by today's cybersecurity threats. In fact, customers who are choosing AWS get more than 230 different security, compliance, and governance services and features built right in. And that's what makes it easy for them to assure that they're maintaining ownership and control of their data, including where it's stored, how it's stored, and who they grant access to. Security is AWS's top priority, and the organizations around the world that trust AWS, we recognize our responsibility to support their sensitive workloads. We were honored recently to receive the Ukraine Peace Prize from President Volodymyr Zelensky. Our team was working alongside the government to keep their services operating, keep their applications secure by helping them employ the best security practices, and also to detect and respond to threats and mitigate on-premise infrastructure threats by moving it into a protected AWS environment. We also were the first global cloud service provider to get certified as a strategic hosting provider in the Australian government's hosting certification framework. 132 AWS cloud services are available now in the AWS Sydney region that have been assessed by the Information Security Registered Assessors Program for operating workloads at the protected level, which is the highest Australian government data classification attainable for public cloud services. We also launched the New Zealand Information Security Manual Conformance Pack last year, which was developed with the Government Communications Security Bureau, which allows government agencies and organizations to see in real time the status of their AWS environments and then continuously monitor compliance against more than 150 different security controls. Improving cybersecurity is so important. It's never been more important now as the digital landscape continues to change, but it demands time and resources, which can be a big task for any organization. This is why we've created the AWS Cybersecurity Partner Competency in Australia and New Zealand, which is made up of companies that have the capabilities needed to take on that sort of heavy lifting. With a breadth and a depth of AWS security services, our partners are able to then build more secure solutions that help reduce the risk of attacks and respond to threats more quickly. All of that allowing customers to be able to stay focused on their mission needs instead of worrying about the infrastructure that they have to build on and maintaining and patching that infrastructure. In addition to ensuring that data is protected and secure, organizations around the world are now leveraging the cloud to get more insights from their data, to be able to identify new and advanced ways to deliver on their missions. To support teachers and to meet the demands of the modern student, our education customers are using data and artificial intelligence and machine learning to drive better learning outcomes. Sydney-based analytics company Octopus BI is helping education institutions to simplify and visualize their data through its unified platform. By migrating to AWS, Octopus BI was able to gain insights in seconds and has effectively scaled their offering across 12 different countries. This helps educators gain a much more holistic view of their students, the classroom, and the business operations to be able to benchmark themselves against the data on a global scale. It helps them identify the changes they need to make to support student growth and implement them more quickly. Modernizing with the cloud is also helping improve health outcomes by increasing efficiencies and by providing insights and tools needed, all in a secure environment that ensures data privacy. To hear more about this, we're going to turn to our next speaker who will share how his organization is transforming the cloud to enhance the clinician and the patient experience. Alexa, can you please help me welcome our next speaker to the stage?
Please welcome to the stage Dr. Zoran Bolevich, Chief Executive of eHealth New South Wales and the Chief Information Officer for New South Wales Health.
Good morning, everyone. It is a great pleasure for me and a real privilege to be able to address this fantastic event today. Thank you, Alexa, and thank you, Max. This will be an opportunity for me to share with you some insights into this topic of digital health and also our successful collaboration with AWS. My name is Zoran Bolovic. I'm the Chief Executive of eHealth New South Wales, and we are the Digital Centre of Excellence for New South Wales Health, Australia's largest public health system. New South Wales Health is a truly world-class health system. It is also a large and complex organisation with more than 160,000 staff working across 228 hospitals and providing some critical healthcare services to 8.2 million residents of New South Wales. New South Wales Health's vision is to be a sustainable health system that delivers outcomes that matter to patients, is personalised, invests in wellness, and is digitally enabled. So right there in the vision statement of our organisation, you can see this notion of digital enablement and digital transformation. Now, to give effect to this vision, eHealth New South Wales, in partnership with our local health districts, has been leading a very large program over the last few years of implementing ICT infrastructure, business systems, clinical information systems, right across New South Wales Health. As a result of that, New South Wales Health has become digital on the inside. And what that means is that our healthcare workers use these digital tools and platforms for their everyday work, to care for patients, to communicate, to learn, and to be good stewards of our scarce healthcare resources. So having put these foundations in place, we are now turning our attention to the next and very exciting phase of this digital health journey. And this will be all about placing patients and citizens at the center of their care, empowering them to be active participants in their health and well-being. So the next phase of our strategy will enable New South Wales Health's future health strategy and themes such as value-based care, which is all about outcomes that matter to patients. It'll be about elevating human experience, and that is experience of patients and experience of our staff. We will also see increased uptake and adoption of consumer-facing digital health solutions, such as virtual care, think video consultations, remote monitoring of chronically ill patients in their homes, or our world-leading telestroke service, which is saving lives across the state. We will also see patient portals and apps, such as the New South Wales Health app that we are currently building, which will help people navigate what is often a complex healthcare landscape. We will see advances in analytics, especially real-time analytics, including data captured from smart devices, and also greater application of AI in health, which we're already seeing in certain areas like diagnostic imaging. But also in parallel with this, we still have a very significant legacy modernization agenda. And this is where the cloud migration is playing a key role, along with adoption of API-enabled platforms and interoperability standards, because interoperability is a big challenge in health. So let me tell you a little bit about our cloud journey so far. Before 2018, our cloud adoption was small-scale, bespoke, usually to do with back-office systems. But in 2018, we started a significant program of critical infrastructure refresh to address aging hardware in our government data centers. We made a conscious decision at that time that we would adopt cloud as our primary and default technology going forward. And from that point on, we have started reducing our investment in replacing on-prem hardware and really amplified and accelerated migration of our systems to the cloud. To do that, we've created some foundational services. We created a cloud services team within eHealth, which has gone from strength to strength, and some of the members are here today. You can talk to them. Invested in training and development of our staff, and then started migrating, and in some cases, Australian first migrations of some clinical information systems, which we are very proud of. And then, of course, in 2020 and 2021, we had to rise to the challenge of enabling COVID response. And this is where really the cloud and its power in terms of agility and resilience enabled us to very quickly scale and meet the needs of our amazing frontline clinicians as they work through the pandemic response. This year we have reached a milestone of about 30% of our workloads being on the public cloud. Another milestone we're very proud of is our new enterprise data lake hosted on AWS. This is a centralized repository of a vast amount of structured and unstructured data from multiple systems, corporate and clinical. Data is extracted in real time without performance impact on those operational systems, which is very important to us. It is there in the raw native format and is really a platform upon which our amazing analytics teams all around the state will now be able to create analytics products and services to solve real problems in terms of safety and quality improvements, better healthcare planning, and also innovation and research, including the use of AI. And you can hear more about this later in the program from the team who is actually running this project. We're also systematically capturing and measuring benefits of our cloud adoption. And as you can see on this slide, we're already accruing some really great benefits in terms of cost avoidance, tenfold increase in speed of deployment, also productivity gains, as well as reduction in unplanned outages and maintenance window. Now, technology is only part of the answer. It has to go hand in hand with how we as an IT organization operate, how we are adopting new methodologies like Agile and DevOps and infrastructure as a code. So we started investing a lot in actually training and developing our staff so that they have the skills and competencies for the future. In partnership with AWS, we've developed CloudStream of our eHealth New South Wales Digital Academy, and more than 700 staff have already gone through this program. So let me wrap up this very quick overview of digital health by sharing a few final thoughts with you. We are hugely excited about the future of healthcare and the future of digital health. And there is no doubt in my mind that healthcare reforms and modernization in this country and around the world will be underpinned and enabled by digital adoption and digital technology. In turn, we have to enable that kind of a transformation through deep engagement and partnership with the community, with healthcare professionals, and with industry. So all of us will have a role to play in this process. Digital transformation of health also will depend on the ability to adopt and leverage the power of the cloud. Health IT is on the cusp of becoming a cloud-enabled and patient-centric digital health. So let us all work together to accelerate that transition. The future of health depends on it. Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Bolovich. It's really incredible what is happening right here in Australia with eHealth New South Wales and how they're using the cloud to really get more out of the healthcare system, all to be able to deliver better patient care. And it's also fabulous that this kind of innovation is happening right here, and AWS is incredibly proud to be able to support the work that's being done. In fact, this is a global challenge. To overcome some of these challenges when faced with this vast amount of genomics data, the Commonwealth Scientific and Industrial Research Organization developed something called VariantSpark. It's a machine learning library on AWS, and this provides greater scale, greater speed, better security that's all needed to be able to advance genomic research and provide for future growth. The analysis now done on the cloud is able to be done 3.6 times faster than other big data solutions. That's the kind of speed and power that AWS gives customers. And the availability of VariantSpark in the AWS marketplace is also helping to be able to spread the access to genomics research across the community while providing assurance and adherence to security standards. Another way that we're helping organizations improve health outcomes is through AWS for Health. I was excited when I was able to launch the AWS Health Equity Institute program last year, which helps organizations to address health disparities and advance health equity globally. We committed over $40 million over 3 years in AWS cloud credits and technical expertise to organizations to be able to improve health outcomes and health equity. We've already seen some incredible developments that are being led by participants. Australia-based organizations like Kind is focused on connecting those people with disabilities to the right support workers. With AWS, Kind was able to scale its platform to support more than a 335% increase in users over the past year. That's the type of great scale that you can get when you use AWS cloud services. But the benefit is that it's helped more people get access to more personalized care across the country. The cloud's also helping scientists to pioneer advances in research and to accelerate time to insight through global collaboration by contributing to breakthroughs in areas from climate change to food security. Today, we're happy to announce that the GNS Science New Zealand is using AWS's Open Data Sponsorship Program to be able to make earthquake, tsunami, and other natural hazard information available from its GeoNet monitoring system publicly available for free. This will enable more researchers to be able to work together to study the changes to the Earth and to recognize patterns that tackle real-world problems faster. In fact, helping to alert citizens to disasters before they even happen. Aerospace and satellite organizations are also leveraging the power of the cloud for faster decision-making on efforts ranging from military intelligence to sustainability. Maxar Technologies' high-resolution unclassified imagery has allowed many customers to have more accurate, more up-to-date views of conditions on the ground. Cloud-based dissemination through Maxar's SecureWatch system lets multiple sources of imagery, like optical imagery and radar data, all be accessible to their partners on a common platform for the community. They also produce commercial satellite imagery that can be shared more broadly. Many of you have probably seen on the news, helping to be able to provide global transparency and combat the spread of disinformation. Space is one of 6 priority areas under the Australian government's Modernising Manufacturing Strategy. By enabling public sector organizations to advance their space and satellite capabilities, AWS is helping Australia and New Zealand build the type of infrastructure and industry resilience that's essential for the future. We're contributing to work with our customers and partners to be able to push the limits and reimagine what's possible. In collaboration with Axiom Space, we recently operated an AWS snow cone remotely on the International Space Station, marking a historic mission. This demonstrates some of the capabilities that are possible in low Earth orbit using existing AWS technology that's going to help to further remove barriers for innovation in space. This lets crews stay focused on their mission while AWS takes care of that undifferentiated heavy lifting. From the very beginning, we've remained focused on building a sustainable future, and we're leading a wide range of ongoing efforts in this space. In 2019, Amazon co-founded the Climate Pledge, which is our commitment to be net zero carbon across business by 2040, 10 full years ahead of the Paris Agreement. More than 300 businesses across 51 industries and 29 countries have now signed on to the Climate Pledge to date. In Australia, Amazon has invested in 3 new energy projects. This includes 2 solar farms, one located in Suntop and another in Gunnedah in New South Wales, and 1 wind farm in Hawkesdale, Victoria. These projects combined will generate over 717 megawatt hours of renewable energy annually, which is equivalent to the amount of energy that's taken to power more than 115,000 average Australian homes. And the 2 solar farms are already up and running, delivering clean energy to the Australian grid. We're also proud to be able to help our customers right here in the room achieve their sustainability goals. A recent study by international analyst firm 451 Research found that AWS's infrastructure is 5 times more energy efficient than that of the average surveyed enterprise data center here in the Asia Pacific region. To make it easier for our customers to be able to calculate their companies or organizations' carbon emissions, and then take action to reduce the footprint that they need against this, we launched the AWS Customer Carbon Footprint Tool. This dashboard provides you with the estimates of your carbon emissions that customers have avoided by using AWS instead of using on-premise data center infrastructure. And it lets them forecast how those numbers will change and improve based upon their current cloud usage. As we move forward, increasing cloud talent is another critical area for innovation. That's why in 2020, we committed to providing more than 29 million people around the world with access to free cloud computing skills by 2025. To date, we've already helped more than 6 million individuals, and we're continuing to invest in this area and scale up our programs to be able to reach more people and have a broader global impact on skills. We're passionate about using the power of the cloud to be able to democratize knowledge and ensure that all individuals, regardless of their background, education, or social status, have the opportunity to work to build the technical skills that are necessary for the future. Since 2017, right here in Australia, we've actually trained more than 200,000 people through all of these various offerings. We support local programs that also cultivate an interest in technology with students to help open up a variety of career paths. For the third consecutive year, we're proud to be able to sponsor the Eagles Raps mentoring program in the Blacktown region of Western Sydney that is focused on helping disenfranchised teenagers to develop their digital skills. We also recently launched the AWS Think Big Space at Blacktown Girls High School, which is dedicated to building a learning environment that provides students with hands-on lessons and activities to explore an interest in science and technology and engineering and arts and math and all of the related careers. Another program, AWS Restart, is a global program that takes a local approach to be able to drive an impact on unemployed or underemployed people that want to launch careers in technology. It right now connects more than 90% of those graduates with a job interview that leads to an opportunity. And we've more than tripled the number of cities where it's available around the world, now in more than 100 cities across 40 different countries. And we remain committed to continuing our investment in Australia and New Zealand through the skilling program like this. It'll help prepare the workforce of the future, and we see great potential in the ability to bring this closer to help drive further innovation in the region. So in closing, the ways in which our customers are blazing new skills and finding new ways to deliver on their missions is truly inspiring. Our two speakers today, I hope you enjoyed what they had to say. Their pioneering efforts and the digital transformations that they're conducting have created a strong foundation that allow organizations to be able to respond faster, more securely, and with more reliability as we forge ahead, ultimately helping to unleash a new wave of innovation. And as Ian said, there's still so many more opportunities to come. It's been great to be here and speak with every one of you. I hope to meet you around the conference. It's clear from all of the work that you're doing that there is simply no slowing down. It's my privilege to be able to work alongside so many awesome customers and work with so many different partners so that we can pave new paths and help imagine what's possible together in the future. Now, before I send you off for the rest of the summit, be sure to attend the breakout sessions, take advantage of the interactive workshops, all the other hands-on learning opportunities. If you're interested in how to build great new data lakes to deliver insights, you can actually come right back to this room and you'll hear more about the details from the eHealth New South Wales project. No matter where you're on your cloud journey, we hope we provide you with the content and the learning experiences you need here at this session. But if you really find this valuable, we've got even more in store for you at our annual conference called reInvent, which is held in November. It's the biggest and most comprehensive cloud technology event available. And if you want to, you can register right now to secure your spot to attend in person or virtually. If you need more information, talk to your AWS account representative and they'll get you more details. And then finally, we would really appreciate your feedback. so that we can keep on improving these events and make them more valuable to you. If you would do me a favor and fill out your survey of this keynote and all of the sessions that you attend, it'll let us continue to be able to make sure we're providing the right information and the right resources that help you achieve your missions. So with that, thank you and enjoy the rest of your day.